Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk the beard struggle for a second. You can, everybody who's interested too, you can follow them on Instagram. It's The Beard Struggle, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And then you can go to thebeardstruggle.com. I follow them because obviously I have a beard.
Right.
So how did you get involved with them? Did they just reach out to you, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so that was back in 2019. Me and that guy Thor I mentioned, we followed each other on Instagram, and he said that he's working with this beard company, and they had all these. They had seen Dan Bilzerian in a beard commercial with a freaking bear, right? So they thought like they could just come to Norway and walk around with a polar bear with beard oil and shit. So that's how like I got in contact with them. They were just like, okay.
And you're like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, we don't even have polar bears there. We gotta go a little bit to a different place to see them. Yeah, so I just got in conversation with them, and the plan was actually just for me to film them on a shoot, but then it just became me as an ambassador or quote unquote actor model for the shoot, and they hired another videographer, and we went to Iceland. That was September 2019. That was like my first month with the Beard Struggle, and we went to Iceland for a week and filmed commercials, run around in these Viking costumes and stuff. So that was fun, and it progressed from there.
Is that with the one where you're on the ship and it's like some people sail, smart people drink, or something like that?
Oh, that's in Norway.
Oh, that's Norway.
Yeah.
It's really, I was cracking up. It's great, man. So what is the since you've gotten to this, this different place in life, where you have all this attention via Instagram and maybe elsewhere, have you noticed anything change on how people treat you, or maybe how you see yourself? Is anything kind of popping up in a different way that is notable? And then if something has, whether it's positive or negative, how do you deal with that?
For me personally, I don't even notice that I have the followers. In a sense, it doesn't affect me. It hasn't changed me at all. And I that was like the one thing I was curious about when I had like 1,000 followers or 500 followers. Like, will I change? Because what is with these people who change when they become famous? What is that shit? It's always frustrated me a little bit, because at the end of the day, we're all just humans, right? So for me, it doesn't affect me at all. But also, I live in a small city, and I interact with the same people all the time. So if I'm out somewhere else and somebody sees me, it's usually just, "Hey, are you that guy from Instagram?" Blah blah blah, and so yeah, that's me. Oh, cool. Can I have a picture? And so it's very like down to earth, kind of for me at least. It doesn't change me. Now I just got to become a billionaire, see if that's going to change me.
That
right?
changes it.
I think that's the next step. I think you passed.
Take some tips from you though, because he's got to let it all go to his head. I mean, he can't even fit through a door these days anymore.
Yeah, right. Oh, bro. No, I like whenever that happens. It's just kind of like it's what I feel, at least, is it's just like an appreciation. It's like someone giving you love, and like it's especially just as an actor, it's not all glamorous. For me, it was a really big struggle. It's a continuous struggle until you get to that final platform, and so it's just it's like a recognition of like, oh wow, like someone likes something, that is receiving something that you're putting out in the world, so it's just kind of like an expression of love. So it's always just kind of I react in just kind of like a very grateful way. So
yeah, totally. Because you guys are probably way more famous than me. I just have a larger number on Instagram. Like,
well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's more famous anymore. Truly, because influencers are getting hired in films, as you know. It seems like you got hired in that
sure.
Vikings commercial. They're looking a lot of times for people with numbers. If they're an actor, plus they've got that, or their ambition is to be an actor, there's a really good odds that you might get hired just based upon your influencer. So I really don't know where that line is anymore, but I think it's all very helpful for your career or anything that you want to pursue moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, yeah, you've done a little bit of acting. What does that look like in the next, 5 years for you? Are you interested in doing more roles?
Yeah, so that's I've noticed as we started filming these commercials, these skits, and I got opportunity in some music videos and this Minnesota Vikings video and all this stuff. I noticed it's extremely fun, and but it's such a new realm. I have no idea how to fully attack it. I did an acting workshop during the pandemic, and then I did an acting class just to like get a sense of it. And I watched like tons of YouTube. There's actually some good like acting videos, tutorials, how to do this, how to practice this, how to do this. I've done this with cameras just to learn how that works, and then I've done it also with acting. But obviously, it's very hard to like. I don't understand that world because obviously, usually people go to acting like school, and then they get discovered somehow. So it's like, yeah, I'm still like trying to figure out.
I think we can help you out. I think we can help you out with that. Yeah, we'll talk after this.
Sick.
Yeah.
All help is welcomed over here.
So, I always listen to that same conversation or interview that Tom Cruise had. He's like, I never went to an acting school. I just showed up. I'm like, okay, I wish it could be that easy for every single person. But I don't even know how much is like truth on that. I don't know if he just believes his own lies or if that's actually something that he did. Because I always had heard the story that he was dyslexic in the beginning and couldn't even read his scripts correctly. So somebody had to be there to help him out.
Yeah, but you always have these romantic stories of these people. Like, not everybody's going to become Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He's like his story from Austria to America is like once in a billion, and isn't the same with Laura? What is that that girl in Hunger Games? Acting chick. What's her name? I've heard she didn't do acting classes either.
Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't know if it's correct, but I've heard that. So there's always these like super talented people. But obviously, I think that if you go to like classes and learn from other people who's better than you, at least you're going to expedite your own.
I mean, as far as the Hollywood industry, I watch interviews all the time. People that I admire. It's from Leo to Brad Pitt. It's just there's a common theme. They all say, "I got lucky. I got a lucky break," because there's so many talented people there. Trying to do the same thing. I mean, there's so many people trying to get to that top 1%. And there's so many there's more talented people than there are opportunities. And there's 1,000 reasons why you could be right or wrong for the role. And you may have the best audition by far, but guess what? This other person brings a little bit more value to the name, and you don't get the job. And you don't get the job 10 times when you have the best audition 10 times, because maybe this other person is a little shorter than you, and you gotta, or like, oh, we already have a brunette, best person for the job, but this other person's attached. We're really looking for a blonde or a darker skin tone or whatever, So, but
there's a million reasons, truly.
Is
like a million reasons that you people get selected and don't. You could be the most talented person in the room, but they're really truly looking for a look. I mean, we tell other young actors and people that are aspiring actors all the time, it's not necessarily about your ability. It's really what comes down to the nuts and bolts and what they're truly looking for.
When it's both, it's like where preparation, like luck, right? Where preparation and opportunity meet. And the more you're persistent and the more that you're diligent and that you do your home, like, then you're going to have more opportunities. You got to keep having opportunities. And the trick is to not be disheartened by a no. A no is motivating. You should use that as fuel to motivate you to put all that energy into the next one with no outcome. The only outcome you should ever expect is to have an amazing experience auditioning. Your job as an actor is to audition, not to work. Work is a byproduct of being good at your job, which is auditioning. And that's the mentality that you have to have, or you'll get beat down and beat down and beat down. You know, it's like having really good opportunities, but you're still auditioning. You're still interviewing for a job that you've already gotten 100+ times.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, totally.
It's a psychological mind, like, unless you conquer it, you know?
What is something that surprised you, though, about being like on the Norseman film set that you didn't expect going into that blind, so to speak?
How much time it takes. That's like
hurry up and wait.
Yeah, well, luckily I'm patient when it comes to I have a lot of patience with this. But because I remember when I was younger and when the movie is done and the credits come along, right? And I was just always like, okay, who in God's name are all these people? Like, it doesn't really take these many people to make a movie. But it's when you're actually on set and you see how things work, and they got to wait for the right clouds because they do one shot when it's clouds and then it's blue skies, and you got to wait for 2 hours to have the clouds back in, and you see how everything how much work it actually is, but it actually makes you appreciate the art of everything that comes together to make a movie. So it's interesting. So I also got a part in a short film, but it's kind of been put on hold because of money, which is annoying. Which is a Viking short film named 872. And the name comes from in 872, long story short, King Harald Finehair crowned Norway under one kingdom. And the movie is like based upon that year. And I play a blacksmith. So I just hope these people get a lot of money so they can finish this. Well, this was like my first break. Like, this was like my first chance to actually do something besides commercials and skits, because then the annoying thing with skits that is meant for social media is so short form content that you have to like say everything within 30 seconds. So sentences and all becomes kind of like unnatural because you have to just get the information out in such a short amount of time, which is annoying. And I always like strive to do something more than just these things. And that's like, that's the adventure I'm on now, man. So, yeah.
Well, at least you have a blacksmith that you know in a Viking village that you just so happen to be able to, pull some character from.
Yeah, true. Maybe I should just go up and stay out there. Isn't that dude in Shawshank Redemption? Didn't he like live in a prison cell for like 6 months or something? Or maybe a month or whatever.
I think you should go full method on this.
Yeah, right. I should just actually. It's insane. I get so many questions about. Hey, I want to write to my fiance. I love her in runes, in Viking runes. Can you help me out? And I'm like, bro, I can't read runes. People expect me to be. People actually believe that I live in a cave somewhere and just sails the open seas in Viking ships.
Wait. You don't? I thought that behind you was just green screen. Are you not like on the water right now?
I'm not actually. I'm actually in a very normal house that was built 2 years ago. So. Yeah. It's awesome. The illusion of social media. Everybody, I kind of like parts of it. I like holding a little bit back. This is why I also fell in love with this Viking stuff. I like to hold a little bit back in like, how it was before. Everything progressed so fast and technology and shit. I'm just afraid we're going to lose everything what it used to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would not want to go to the doctor or the dentist in the year 900, right? Imagine that shit.
Oh, I have imagined that actually. I'm like, wow, we're lucky. Even like 100 years ago,
Oh man.
I mean,
yeah. When I was in the military, when you have to go to what is called the medic or whatever, if there's something wrong with you, they have this cabinet with glass, and they have all the gadgets they used, like maybe in 19, I don't know, 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're not giving me that shot. That's for sure.
You're like, I'm gonna be very safe.
Extremely safe.
Yeah.
So speaking about social media, Instagram, what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to grow their social media that you've learned from?
There's I would say maybe 5 steps you got to take. One is nailing down content that fits social media. Besides YouTube, that is like we can like make longer form of that, but I'm talking like TikTok and Instagram or Facebook. You got to nail down what kind of content those platforms desire, and that is very short and has to be very eye-catching, and they got to be straight to the point. So you got to figure out that and find a niche that you enjoy doing, because if you don't enjoy it, you're going to be tired of it, and you're going to post once a month and you're not going to get any followers. And then you have to be engaging, because it's at least in the beginning, because people are not going to love you if you don't love them, right? You have to comment, like, show engagement with other people, or else they're not going to go follow you or like anything back. So you gotta nail these things down. It's very I've had this discussion with people who are like stuck at 30,000 followers, and I tell them, well, if I just use myself an example, you haven't liked or commented on any of my posts in like 5 months, and that in return turns me to not be like, I don't want to spend time promoting you if you don't promote me, and over time that is going to affect your reach. So you have to be willing to put in the time. Social media is this machine that continuously needs to be fed by your own engagement, your own time, and feeding it with content. So you have to like focus on those things, in my opinion. And there's always these like hacks, or like, you got to use the right sound, because right now that sound is viral. It's kind of annoying how it works, but that's
Yeah,
how
because
it
they're
is.
always throwing out like, use this sample or use this piece of music, right?
Yeah.
And there's some sort of engine behind that.
Yeah, so I've heard it works a little bit in the sense that if a song wants to be promoted, TikTok and Instagram will make it like so everybody uses that song, so they make money from the record companies and stuff. But it doesn't seem to always be true. You can post with original sound, like you don't take it from the archives. You could just find a song or some inspirational quotes or whatever, and you can use that as a sound. And I think if enough people use it, the algorithm will pick up that a lot of people will use this sound or song or speech, and it will like understand that this is like something that is viral right now. And if you use it, you have a bigger chance of going viral. This is like, it's right now, it sort of feels like you're shooting in the dark, because it's so hard to say what's going to go viral. And it's kind of annoying, because if you understand how social media works right now with Instagram, at least, I can compare it to when we are on these Viking shoots. Here we shoot a commercial on a red camera with a director, and everything is scripted, and it costs like thousands of dollars to do, and it completely tanks in the algorithm. And I just, at the end of one of these shoots, take my phone like this and just film between my legs the front of the Viking ship in the mountains, and post that 10 seconds, and I'd get 15 million views. So here I'd done something that didn't require 2.5 calories, and I get millions of views and hundreds of thousands of followers. And we did this other thing that cost a shit ton of money and time and dedication, and the algorithm just completely tanks it. So this is like the frustrating things. You got to figure out how this works.
So I get it. If you film between your legs, you'll get 15 million views.
Definitely. That applies more to women, though.
Yeah.
For the most part.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was almost going to say that. I was like,
it was too good. It was too good.
It was too good.
Yeah.
I just laid that out right in front of it.
Still is, but it used to be also. So I actually have a weird relationship with Instagram. Like I had about like 300,000 followers a few years ago, and I'm not. I didn't want to post. I feel like I was. Like, you know, I had maybe like 1,000 or 2,000, and then I got on this hit TV show, and it just would. And so then I was kind of posting. I was doing stories and my other castmates, and it was just a lot of fun. And then I got off the show, and then I was just like at home a lot, and I didn't really feel like
Sexy.
advertising that or something. And yeah, funny. And so I just kind of stopped posting. And I mean, in the last like number of years, probably 3 or 4 years, I probably posted like a static post on my feed, like I average like 3 to 5 a year, maybe. And it's just every single time I post, I lose a couple thousand followers because I'm not actively engaging and really doing anything. And so I just kind of like just stopped, and now I just do stories and stuff like that, you know, like maybe on like birthdays or I don't know, something coming out that, you know, I've done TV or movie or something.
Well, see, that's what you're doing wrong. Nobody cares anymore about your birthday or anything.
Yeah, well, I know you don't, but I don't think you're speaking for Espen here. He looks like a kind soul.
Yeah, on your next birthday, I'm coming over to Austin and we'll party up.
There you go. And we won't tell Jacob because, you know, too much negativity over there.
Are you guys going to post something?
Microphone.
We're going to post. He's going to become extremely active on Instagram.
100%.
100%.
So, Espen, if you could give yourself some advice, we always call it the time machine on Real Conversations. If you could take a trip in the time machine, go back and you had some words of advice for teenage Espen, what would that be?
Besides buying Bitcoin? No, I mean, for me, it's very hard to give advice because you give advice and it's the other side of it's going to listen. But I wish I wasn't so afraid of making mistakes. I've always been afraid of making mistakes, and I've always been afraid of making a fool of myself. I was always shy, extremely shy growing up. How I overcame this, I still sense it's intrinsically deep down inside of me, but yeah, this is something I wish, like, I always like, if you this is like the thought process of if I had a button that could just click and I became 16 again, I just want to be how I am now back then, because I would kill it. So that's like the advice. But it's like to just give an advice: don't be shy, don't be afraid, don't be afraid of making mistakes. This is all these things that it's so easy to say but so hard to do. I was just like, no joke, but back then, maybe that was like 15, 16 years, I just looked at myself in the mirror and was just like, okay, tomorrow, Espen, you're not going to be shy anymore, you're not going to be afraid anymore. Because why? It doesn't matter. But then the next day comes, I'm the same fucking person.
Yeah, well, there's this saying, Espen, youth is wasted on the young, right? Because when we learn, we get, wiser, and then we're like, if only, right? If only. My son is, you brought up Nintendo before. He gets really frustrated when he's playing games. He's 8 years old, and I just got him a Switch. I delayed it for like 8 years. He hadn't had a video game until now. And he really gets very obsessed, and he's like, I'm horrible. And I'm like, yeah, that's good, because look at how great you can be. It's like through failure, like that's the most fertile ground for growth. You can't grow without that process. It's a necessary. Embrace the failure, embrace the mistakes, and stop looking at the level 10 when you're at level 1. Embrace level 1. you know, like dare to, like, there's this thing that we always say to other actors, you know, it's, you know, dare to suck. One of my favorite acting coaches ever, Lee Kilton Smith in Los Angeles. She coached Jennifer Aniston privately. And she always said, dare to suck, you know, go there, do something different, surprise yourself. And if you fall on your face, good. It's amazing. You know, like, 'cause the more you fall on your face, the less it'll have the effect on you, and it'll be fine. You'll be okay with it. You got to go through the fire, you know? So I think that's pretty much what you were saying, right?
Yeah, it is for sure. But the thing is with video games, that for me, I also got a little bit obsessed with that, because if you fail in video games, you're alone in a room. Nobody's gonna like witness what happened. You just try again and again and again.
Yeah.
So I was always, that turned me into being actually pretty good in video games, because I meant I could practice there, right? But in school, in gym, or any sports, I was horrible. But playing video games, I got a PlayStation 1 back in 1995.
Nice.
I played like Tekken and all this shit, and I still play PlayStation now. Like Warzone, you play that?
Yeah.
Yeah, all about that. So yeah.
Yeah, I was. Awesome. We used to have Tekken tournaments at my place, man. I was a huge Tekken guy. I mean, that was like probably my favorite game for so many years. And then, you know, they just kept coming out with the new one. You know, my son, I think he's even got a newest version on his Xbox now. So they're still kicking ass on that game.
Yeah, still probably Tekken 40 now or whatever. Or how many?
Tekken over the hill.
Over the hill, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
What's your do you have any brothers, sisters? Like, what's your family situation?
Well, technically I have 3 sisters, I believe. The thing is, I don't know my father. So I have 2 half sisters on that side, which I've never talked to them ever. But I have another sister, which my mom got with my stepdad. So she's like my sister's sister. Like, and so I just, so that's my family.
Are you guys close?
Huh?
Are you guys close? You and your sister?
Yeah. We are close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
have you ever wanted to reach out to those others, or is it just?
It's never been, growing up as a child, my mom always asked me if it bothers me that I don't know my dad and I don't have any contact with him. But it never really, I didn't feel like something was missing, because I had like grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins. I always had like so many people around me with love. So I didn't feel like something is missing. Although I think it's weird. It's kind of like an interview I saw with Eminem, where he said, like, if I had a child, I would find him even if he was on the other side of the world, right? And here my dad lives fucking, what is it, 2 miles from me now, and I've never met him, right? So it depends on how you think about it. It's weird, but me personally, I don't care that much. Maybe it would turn into a beautiful Oprah Winfrey show one time, but
yeah.
So
I usually
So do you
what?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think you were lagging.
Well, I just think it's interesting. I just think it's interesting that, you know, you've never met him, but he's a mile away. Have you ever seen him?
Not that I know of, that I can remember. My mom said, like, because we used to, when I was a child, there's this lake we always used to go and swim in the summer. And she said now that he was there with his wife and children, but I had no clue back then. So it's never, so if I've seen him, I have no idea. Because I barely know how he looks like. I've only seen like a picture of him when he's in his 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's also just kind of like, you know, this is what you've known. So it's like you never really lost someone because you never had that, right?
Yeah,
'Cause,
exactly.
yeah, like my son and his mom, you know, like we've never been together his entire life, right? So his life has consisted of like 2 homes and 2 people. So he doesn't have that. Like, I mean, I grew up with parents that were together, and they separated eventually later in my life. But like that was my normal. And then this is, so everyone has their own, I guess, normal,
Normal.
right? Like
Yeah,
they're.
totally.
I mean, I don't want to say normal, right? It's kind of, but like baseline, right?
Yeah,
What,
right.
like their launching pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
But
actually
you,
funny when I did the when I did the acting workshop. We were talking about like, because me and the other guy was gonna do the scene from a Warrior with Tom Hardy and the other dude. Remember that movie?
yeah,
Yeah. So when Tom Hardy meets his brother at the beach, so we were like practicing in that scene, and the acting teacher or whatever you want to call it, she wanted me to, she was like digging and asking like if there was something to evoke any emotions, and we touched on this with like me not knowing my father and wanted like to use, I said like I'm not sure if that's going to work with me getting emotional or whatever, because it's never been something that makes me emotional, but there's always a way to twist these things, right? So I could like, if I dig deep inside, you can always find like uh, something that's touches you in a sense,
well,
with
you can
having like
almost,
an absent father.
you can
It's a
almost,
weird situation.
yeah, like I mean, you could almost replace, like, if you have, you ever like planned anything to say, like, you know, like I'm sure that like there has been some kind of maybe moments of like man, like that, like if I was him, right, like I would never do that, you know,
Yeah.
like have you ever had things that, like, if you were to see your father and someone was to point that out, some random person, do you even know, like, would you have no like, would you just be indifferent, or like how do you feel like you would react in that situation?
Or what would you say to him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I have no idea,
Yeah.
because to me it's just another, like, family isn't always necessarily by blood, right? So to me he's just the biological father, but not necessarily someone I have this connection with. So,
Yeah.
but it would be weird for sure. But I don't have like anything I would definitely say.
Yeah.
I just maybe if a conversation were to kick off, I would ask like why, like what
Yeah.
happened, because my mom have obviously said things that like is maybe like a reason for why there wasn't any contact, but it's very hard. It would be interesting to hear that side of it, obviously, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I think I feel the same with you. I mean, some people are kind of sold on this idea of, you know, like blood, right? And I'm I respect the shit out of that. You know, like it's, you know, it's like what an amazing blessing and opportunity, and the respect that goes with it. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I've had some family members that, you know, just push it a little too far and just don't show me the love and the respect that I would want. And so it's easy for me to just, okay, yeah, you're a relative, but you're not treating me like one, so I'm good, you know.
Yeah.
And that's that chosen family that you mentioned that is so important, because it's not just like there's no obligation. I don't feel the same obligation that like a lot of people do with like a blood relative. It's an opportunity, right? I have 2 brothers, a year and a half younger than me and a year and a half older than me. We have no relationship because we're just so different. We're okay. We get along, and what an amazing opportunity. I have friends whose brothers are like best friends. I'm like, oh, I've always wanted that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity I had. We were all in high school at the same time.
Yeah.
Nothing like. So I don't like judge myself or them, or like, it just is what it is, you know. It's an opportunity, and that's beautiful when that happens, but it's never guaranteed, and that's why we have the support, you know, like my best friend Jacob and brother, like he's a brother of mine, you know, and so I feel super blessed for that.
Yeah, for sure. And this is why for me, social media has been a blessing, because I've met so many people that I wouldn't even know existed without it.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating, and I'm very excited and hyped about that. Actually, it's very fun to just travel and meet people that you just talked to social media and you become friends. Because it's very hard to make friends past the people that you like grew up with as a child. It's very, especially in Norway, a lot of foreigners complain about this. They make TikToks all the time, how hard it is to make friends in Norway. And there is something to it. It's very hard to, like, if you're in your 20s and just make friends with another 25-year-old out of the blue. But with social media, it breaks that first barrier. And when you first meet in person, it's like it's weird. It's
like you've known each other forever. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's insane. So yeah.
Jacob also has an interesting story, you know, like with, you know, speaking of family dynamics, and, you know, it's like we all come from different, you know, we all have different paths, you know, and there's no promise. There's no promise of tomorrow. There's no promise of family. There's no promise of life, you know? And so, like, just seizing the day, making the most of it, being grateful for the air that we're breathing now and the opportunity that we're able to talk to you in freaking Norway. You know what I mean? Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so true, Trent. You know, you can't choose your family, you know, and I had a rough upbringing in my life, and a lot of abandonment issues as I got older, and therapy, and, you know, going through that. Obviously, acting became a therapy for me because I was finally allowed to express my emotions and not just like harbor them inside of me. But, you know, I still deal with stuff, you know, even in my adulthood. I you know, I'll be perfectly fine for a couple of years, and then suddenly something hits me and I go, whoa, you know, I might need to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, before we go, I mean, what's really next? I mean, if you could choose something that you are gravitating towards right now, what is that for you, Espen?
Well, right now, as I mentioned earlier, acting is a path I'm trying to pursue a little bit. Social media is something I now understand, and it's just more building blocks on top of it, really. It's always like, oh, I want to go and shoot this, I want to do this, I have like this is like the problem with how I am different now than before, is that it's very hard to relax the brain. There's always, my mind gets bombarded with thoughts and ideas all the time, and I want to film this and I want to do this, and if it's shitty weather and I can't do stuff over a long period of time, I start to get frustrated and a little bit like anxious. That happens every year for the past 4 years, between January and like March here in Norway, because the weather is just so shit and I can't do anything. And I just want to go out and like film something cool, but I can't. Like now, these past weeks, we had like negative 13 and 17 degrees where I live, and was even like up into the 30s. Other places in the states, and here in Norway. So it's super cold, and bringing out a camera and trying to do stuff is insane. So, but
so
yeah,
how do you cope with that when those months are upon you and it's too cold and you're feeling anxious?
That's the thing. I don't know how to. I just lose sleep. So I had like, it's very interesting is to see how many other people struggle with this. I've always struggled a little bit with sleep all my life. Not to sleep, but to fall asleep. And it was exceptionally bad a couple of weeks ago, and I made a story of it, and I got like thousands of DMs of solutions and all this. This is like when you see the good in people. Everybody wants to help out, which is amazing. So yeah, but I don't really know how to cope with it.
I actually have a perfect solution. Call Jacob and talk to him for just a couple minutes, and he'll make you fall right asleep. It's just like, he's so boring, and it's just the same thing over and over again.
Wow. I didn't realize it had that effect on you, Trent.
It's great. It's really great. I'm glad Espen's here. I'd already be passed out.
Maybe, yeah. So I have recorded this. I could just listen to this back.
Exactly.
Right away, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you
Screw
can just
that.
cut me and you out of it, and just it's perfect.
You screw the Calm app. You don't even need to pay for it. You got it for free now. So
Right on.
So the last thing we always ask, man, because our sponsor, they help children, they reach out to children, and their motto is "He ain't heavy," meaning in our lives we've all had somebody carry us, get us through that rough patch. Who's carried you, Espen?
I would say the first parts of my life has been my mom. But really, I would just give that credit to everyone around me, family and friends, because all those are like, I'm a product of these people, right? I don't know what like when you progress into your 20s, what would you do without your friends? I don't think it would be as easy, because I don't thrive very well alone. I need people around me, and I need friends, and I need family, and I need my dog. So yeah, I can't really overall apply this to just one person.
Right.
But yeah, obviously it was my mom in the beginning of my life, and my grandparents, and yeah, it's when I think back of my life, it almost doesn't seem real. Like going to this the family farm where my grandfather grew up, and just when I think back over those memories, it almost doesn't seem real. So yeah.
In what way?
Yeah, because it's such a fairy tale place, and you have like it's just the memory of me sitting in the sandbox and playing as a 6-year-old, and my grandmother calls and say, "Hey, it's coffee and cake," and you run down there and super excited, and you eat some cake, and you just cannot wait to get back out and play. I'm very glad that I grew up in an age without the technology, so
Yes.
you at least have a sense of the contrast between now and then. That's very I think that is very important. Obviously that is the last time now, though. But
what would you are you a father by any chance?
no.
And so if and or when you do become a father, how would you handle that balance between technology and, I mean, because like I feel like, especially I feel like you started in the sandbox and then went to Florida, like,
Yeah.
which is another sandbox completely, but
Yeah.
and then you kind of made your way back to nature, and went back to your heritage and your roots, and you felt this desire to tap into this part of Espen that you feel rooted and connected throughout your ancestral history. How would you try to shepherd that newfound resonation, and also the given, like, especially in 10 years 20 years from now, the technological advances and the necessity of how it's going to be intertwined? How would you kind of balance that, do you think?
Yeah, the main debate will always be, when should a kid get his first phone or iPad. But I think as the world changes, all you can do is change with it. I think it can be, this is just my opinion, but I think maybe it can be a little bit detrimental to a child to withhold technology for too long, because it is actually pretty important for how the world is evolving. And if you I learned my first English words from playing NBA Live 98 on PlayStation 1.
I was going to say that this is one of the most beautiful things about the Nordic countries. Like, I have friends from Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Norway, and they all speak perfect English because you don't dub anything. Nothing is dubbed, Jacob. Like, right? Like, I mean, everything is in like standard English with maybe some subtitles. So you learn, like, the cartoons and stuff, it's all in English, right? Is that
Yeah, it's like that here.
The case?
Yeah. When I lived in Florida, I lived with 4 dudes from Italy. All right. So, and they were like, okay, you want to watch a movie tonight?
What are the chances?
And I was like, yeah, what are the chances? 4 dudes from Italy. And then they put on on a movie, and it's fucking dubbed in Italian. Tutta barriere, porco dio. I was just like, what the fuck? I can't watch this shit.
It's Terminator. You know?
I'm just, can we just watch this shit in English? What is it?
Yeah.
I actually like to have English subtitles also on, because then it says what the people say, rather than some idiot who works somewhere is trying to translate these words. They're telling you sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, especially with the English dictionary, there's less words than most of the other, older languages. Like there's words that I think it happened at the beginning of this conversation where you're like, how do you say this in English? And I don't think there's a word for it. We have to use more words to explain some, things.
Yeah, right. I noticed I actually have trouble both ways. Obviously, English isn't my first language, so sometimes I stutter a little bit and try to find the words. But it's actually hard when I get into discussions in Norwegian, because I watch all podcasts, debates. I really love to watch debates, and everything is in English. So when I try to explain something in Norwegian, I just can't, because I don't know the words in Norwegian. It's kind of like frustrating.
Yeah.
I was on a show, The Bold and the Beautiful, and it's in 113 countries, and most of like the Scandinavian countries, it was dubbed over. And so I would meet the person that was doing many times, like whether it was in Italian or whether it was in, I went up to Helsinki, Finland. There was like somebody that would speak over, and I met them, and I just always am like enamored by that process of like how they translate it and make it make sense, and trying to actually mimic the mouth at the same time. Because sometimes it's pretty damn good, I have to say. I'm like,
yeah, it is. But I tried to watch, what is that show? That there's a Spanish show called, there's a bank robbery. They have some red clothes on.
Oh,
Paper House.
Yeah.
And obviously it's Spanish, so I figured, we got to watch it in Spanish. But I cannot watch anything besides English or Norwegian, because then I have to read the subtitles, and I
can't pay attention.
I cannot. I don't want to look down at the subtitles and read for like hours. So we try to watch it in English, dubbed to English, but I like subconsciously focus on the mouth and see that it doesn't make sense. So I just couldn't watch that.
Yeah. Well,
the only movies I kind of like that is like in any other language is horror movies, because the dialogue isn't really the important.
It's not heavy.
Horror movie.
Yeah.
No, so there's like a lot of epic horror movies from like Asia. Those Japan people are crazy as fuck.
Yeah. Well, there's this show Dark. I don't know if you've seen that show. I think it's a Netflix.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
I think it's maybe a Swedish. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I feel like it's in that region. Maybe it's a Nordic show
or something.
Yeah, it could be German. Yeah, actually, I think it is. Yeah, it is. So it's a German show, but most of the actors in Germany speak English, right? And so it's the same actor dubbing for their character, and so it's very interesting because it's like they're able to like get the same emotion and all that kind of stuff. So
is it dubbed, or did they just shoot it twice?
Dubbed. Yeah, no. So it's dubbed, but they dubbed it themselves for their own characters.
All right. Because I remember when they
all right, English.
Because I remember when they filmed The Norseman.
Yeah,
it took forever because they did everything first in English or in Norwegian, and then in English after. So they had to do everything twice.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of money. That's extra time for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I got to say, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for sharing your stories and your past and present. And we're just very lucky to have you on the show today.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was awesome. I love this podcast stuff.
Yeah, it was really nice meeting you, brother.
Yeah, likewise.
Cool. All right, hold tight for a second. Well, that's about all the time that we have for this week. But the Boys Town toll-free national hotline, 1-800-448-3000, is a 24/7 crisis resource and referral number for kids and their parents. And they're always there to help anyone having suicidal thoughts, risking any type of self-harm, parenting problems, physical, sexual, or emotional abuse, stress, anxiety, anger problems, like bullying, peer pressure. If you're dealing with any of these issues, feel free to reach out to the Boys Town National Hotline at 1-800-448-3000. You don't feel like talking, you can text VOICE to 20121. Someone will get back to you immediately. Boys Town, saving children, healing families. Till next time, love each other and love yourself.